As we continue our discussion on what heaven is like, we're going to look today in Isaiah chapter 11. We've looked at what we would look like in heaven, our appearance, our age. We did that a couple of days ago. And then yesterday we talked about marriage, our spouses on earth that will not be married to in heaven, and perhaps some the family relationships there as well. I want to move now to another subject that is on the minds of a lot of people, and that is animals. I don't know how many people I've talked to who believe or hope that their animal, their Fido or Fluffy or whoever they really are attached to, will be in heaven with them when they go there, and even talk about that when they die, that maybe they're in heaven. Children, of course, are really interested in that as well. So the question is, will there be animals in heaven or in eternity? Isaiah chapter 11, some have turned to this passage of Scripture and has said this is a picture of what it will be like in heaven. It says, in the wolf, verse 6, and the wolf will dwell with the lamb, and the leopard will lie down with the young goat, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little boy will lead them. Also a cow and the bear will graze, and the young will lie down together, and the lion will eat straw like an ox. The nursing child will play by the hole of the cobra, and the weaned child will put his hand on the viper's den, and they will not hurt or destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth will be full of the knowledge of the Lord as the water covers the sea. So some have taught that this is a picture of heaven and the eternal state, and this is we're going to have animals there. They're going to be animals that are no longer ferocious. They no longer eat meat. They no longer will be vicious to one another. Children can play with the most vicious of animals on earth now, and so forth, and it'll be a very different world, and animals will be there. So that's a possibility, but this is a passage that's dealing not with the eternal state, but with the Millennial Kingdom. So this is a time prior to the eternal state, prior to the new heaven and the new earth, and is not a description of the eternal state or the heavenly state or the new heaven and new earth. So it does not directly teach that. Now some believe this is a prelude to the events in the eternity, and that what happens in the Millennial Kingdom will kind of bleed over into what's going to happen in the eternal kingdom, just more perfected. Because we find here, even though these animals and so forth are on earth at this time, that they're going to die and decay, and that will not happen in eternity. We find here a little boy and a child who's not yet weaned, and that those children will be growing up. And in the descriptions in Isaiah, they also will die in due time, even though they live for a long time. So what we have here is a picture of something taking place prior to the eternal state. So the question is, will this same thing happen in eternity? Probably the closest thing that we can kind of link is the second coming of Christ back in Revelation chapter 20, actually chapter 19. We find the Lord coming back, and he's riding on a white horse. And the church itself is following him, an army that's also on white horses coming back to earth. And that's at the second coming. But once again, that is bringing in the kingdom age, not the eternal state age. When we come to chapter 21 and 22 of Revelation, there is no mention of animals there. So we don't know. We would like to think so, perhaps. We get very attached to our animals. We love them. And we like to think there's going to be animals in heaven as well. And again, logically and hopefully there will be animals there. But animals don't have souls like humans do. And therefore, the idea that our animals on earth now, the ones that we have grown attached to and loved, those particular animals will be with us in eternity, is a little more far-fetched and not likely. I couldn't say it couldn't happen. The Lord could do what he wants to do. But most likely, it's never mentioned, and most likely those animals that we were attached to on earth will not be with us in heaven. At the same time, the animals that we don't know that there's animals that'll be created for heaven for us, but there could be. The Lord seems to have a special place for animals, and has created that special space in our hearts for animals as well. Perhaps the Lord will give us animals to enjoy there. But we're saying perhaps, because Scripture again does not address it. We're going to leave it to the Lord and once again be surprised by the joys that He has planned for us. So you animal lovers like myself can look forward to whatever God has chosen to be best for us. We'll see you tomorrow.